that were used by LTT to smuggle arms and ammunition from Far Eastern and Eastern European countries. Bulk of their military hardware had been purchased from North Korea, and this is the route, this is the zero line and this maritime line. There were floating warehouses here, or they were unloaded in somewhere here. And there were land warehouses maintained by LTT. And this is the route which they took for this procurement. And every time when they procured, they purchased ships, whatever required for that purpose from Japan. Because in Japan, after every 10 years, the merchant vessels are sold to outsiders, so at a cheaper rate. So that is the reason why they went here to purchase and then go here and come. Then the other bulk of the military hardware, they are procured from Ukraine and Bulgaria, and this is the route that they used. That is from Odessa port in Ukraine, coming to Bulgaria, Varna, and those are the two ports that they use for transportation of shipment. Then coming to Black Sea and cutting that canal here, and some instances they use the Suez Canal very rarely, but they prefer to take this route to avoid unnecessary detection by the authorities in those countries. And it is interesting to note that there were instances that two ships were destroyed. Once accidentally, when a heavy load of explosives, anti-aircraft guns and missiles were carrying, a ship was exploded somewhere here due to overheating of explosives. Then another instance, when a container bringing an arms shipment coming from this way, the Indian Navy had detected. And for 4 days they have chased this ship. But the Navy could not catch them, and they went along to Andaman Islands and then set fire to the ship and got into a boat arranged from Bangkok and went to Bangkok from there. But the ship was destroyed. Most of the military hardware procured from overseas were transported through shipping network as normal cargo and tankers. It is also significant to note that there had been number of arms shipments of which reached the eastern coast Sri Lanka, particularly during the period between 1990 and 2005. And those, only a few had been detected and either destroyed or prevented. It was as a consequence of the post-2005 national strategy, which clearly understood the importance of preventing LTT means of replenishment to the sustenance of their war effort, that these consignments were prevented and destroyed. The LTT was also engaged in sea piracy, where a number of merchant vessels were hijacked and some destroyed, posing a considerable threat to the maritime security in the region. The details of the ships detected, destroyed by Sri Lanka Navy and Sri Lanka Air Force is shown in the screen. Military intelligence also played a key role in this, providing intelligence to Navy and Air Force. Coming on to the air wing, the man you see on the left-hand side is Shankar. He was the original pioneer of the air wing. He was aeronautical engineer, came from Canada, and left to him is the present, the leader of the air wing till the last, when the operations came to halt, but he still has some connections with the LTT cadres operating outside. He is known as Achudan. Presently, we believe he is somewhere in the Middle East. The Air Tiger Wing of the LTT was established in the early 90s. by Shankar, former aeronautical, as I said. Initially, the LTT air wing was equipped with anti-aircraft guns and missiles. A significant development in the Air Tiger wing was observed since the signing of the ceasefire agreement in 2002. The sophistication of Air Tigers could be discussed in terms of developing infrastructure, procuring aircraft and related accessories and training. To our intelligence, they procured 5 aircraft from Czechoslovakia. How they transported to the coastal line was from Czechoslovakia to Germany, Hamburg in Germany by land, in containers, in 5 containers, 40-foot containers. And then it was shipped to Singapore, and from there took the sea route to Indonesia. And in Indonesia, they were stacked in a bonded warehouse in order to avoid detection by any Indonesian authorities. The LTT maintained a total of 7 airstrips in Innermadu, Mulattu and Kilnochi areas. 2 of these airstrips were set up to a conventional configuration with associated facilities such as hangars, clearways and parking areas. Protective earth bunds too were constructed around these airstrips. As far as the training of pilots was concerned, a considerable number of LTT cadres underwent training in private flying schools in South Asian countries and East and West Europe, and later served in the LTT air wing. This is when they went to purchase Sling 143 in Czechoslovakia. It's a short film. It's a long film, but I have cut it to very few seconds. During the last 2 decades, the LTT succeeded in shooting down and destroying more than 26 aircraft and helicopters, including civilian aircraft, using SA-40 missiles, as shown on the screen. The LTT carried out a few air attacks against military bases and government installations outside north and east areas, particularly in Colombo, using bomb-carrying light aircraft, creating a fear psychosis in the minds of the people from all walks of life of the entire nation. Sri Lankan Air Force succeeded in shooting down 2 LTT aircraft that were on suicide missions in Colombo and Katunayaka in February 2009. So one fell onto the Inland Revenue Department building. Actually, it came on to take on the Air Force headquarters. It's about 100 meters crow fly away from here, crow fly distance here. And the other fell into Katunayaka Air Base itself. The target was the Kafir squadron. So these were the last 2 aircraft that LTT had. To date, LTT remains as the only terrorist organization to own aircraft. Of the many terrorist organizations which have resorted to suicide attacks over the period of last 3 decades, the LTT can be identified as most of the efficient terrorist organization in the world ever to utilize suicide terrorists for the advancement of its struggle. The LTT carried out 116 suicide attacks both at sea and on land during the period between 1987 and 2009. The LTT was the only organization that succeeded in assassinating 2 national leaders in 2 different countries. In May 1991, LTT assassinated Sri Rajiv Gandhi, former Prime Minister of India, in the Indian soil, and 1993, the LTT assassinated Mr. R. Premadasa, serving President of our country, through suicide missions. Furthermore, the LTT was successful in carrying out assassination missions targeting